Hi, welcome to this presentation on the Cambridge Technical Sport qualification, which is what we offer through the St Mary's P department. I'm Mr. Taylor, and I'm going to be taking you through the presentation, hopefully answering any questions which you've got and giving you enough information to make a decision to choose St Mary's as your place to study sport. Alongside Miss Jackson, we've delivered this course for the last 5 years, and we've had a very high level of success for each of our students where they've been able to go on and access higher education, training, or employment. So on this slide, 5 different units which we cover within the CTEC Sport qualification. Unit 1, body systems and the effects of physical activity. The unit where we look at different body systems, its response to exercise, then hopefully giving us that underpinning knowledge to apply within some of the other units which we cover. Unit 2, sports coaching and activity leadership. This is a unit where students will be delivering a number of training sessions to younger students within our school community. It's an opportunity for people to demonstrate they have the potential to go on to work with children and adults within the sport and leisure industry. Unit 3, sports organisation and development. This is a unit where we look at the different areas within the UK in terms of how it's structured, go from government all the way down to local grassroots organisations. We look at the different types of funding which can be accessed by each of these organisations, and we look at the opportunities that young people are given in order to access sport and hopefully become part of an institution and organisation, whether it is a participant or someone who is employed or as a volunteer. Unit 8, organisation of sports events. This is a unit where students work together to deliver an event within school. It has been really successful over the 5 years. It's become a staple of the Year 7 curriculum, where students tend to deliver a dodgeball tournament for all our students within Year 7. And it's usually a very good end to the first term at St Mary's for our Year 7 students. Unit 17, sports injuries and rehabilitation. This is a unit where a lot of our students tend to use part of the application towards university or employment. Okay, so it's looking at the different types of injuries that can occur within sport, methods that we use to rehabilitate them. It involves creating things like rehabilitation programs, analysing different injuries, and coming up with successful ways to improve future performance of an individual after they've been injured. On this slide, we're looking at the different ways in which each of the units are assessed within the course. Some people prefer examination units, other people prefer coursework. In this course, there's a mixture. Okay, Unit 1 and Unit 3, for example, they are the two exams that are covered within the course. Unit 1, 90-minute exam, the end of the first year, Year 12. It's usually sat in May. Unit 3, 60-minute shorter exam in January of Year 13. So there is a bit of a gap between the two, and hopefully that is enough time for students to be able to be successful in the first one and prepare well for the second one. Units 2, 8, 17, they're all units which are assessed internally by myself and Miss Jackson as part of a coursework portfolio. So Unit 2 is submitted at the same time in Year 12 as roughly around when we'd sit the Unit 1 exam. To give students the opportunity to have an understanding of where exactly they are within the course at the end of the first year, and certainly helps with being able to plan ahead and set targets. Is one of the big reasons why students have been very successful. Unit 8 and Unit 17 are units which we cover within Year 13. We submit those usually around April of year 13. By this stage, we'll have had the exam results for Unit 1, resit possibly if they needed it in the 1st January in year 13. We'll have the exam results for the sitting of Unit 3. So we know exactly what students will need quite a time before end of year 13, usually around March. Okay, so it gives us that last couple of months, really focus on each of the units and really target what it is that we need to work on to ensure we can maximise our performance. With the results for our students, which just left in the summer of 2020, where all students were able to achieve a distinction star, a distinction which is the equivalent of an A star or an A. Students matched, in some cases, better our previous cohorts since 2015. And this is just one example of our students achieving the highest grades throughout the 2 years that they've sat the course. It's something that myself and Miss Jackson are really proud of. Students come from different backgrounds, different schools, maybe didn't even sit sport qualification during their GCSEs. So to get to this stage where students are achieving such high grades is a testament to students taking on advice that myself and Miss Jackson offer, the organisation, the structure and the framework of the course, the external validation that we get from our moderators, where we've always been consistently impressed with the level and quality of the work that the students at St Mary's produce. Obviously, as a consequence to that, students are then able to use these high grades to be able to access higher education, training or employment. On this slide, we can look at the different options that students have in relation to future pathways once they've achieved hopefully a successful result within the qualification. The CTEC Sport course, along with the Cambridge Technical courses, provides valuable UCAS points towards a degree. So it's not always a case that just because you study in a sport qualification that you then can only really directly move into a sport related course in the future. The course provides valuable points for students to be able to access different courses which might be unrelated to the Cambridge Technical Sport course. That's something which we'll look at in the following slide. Typically, students who cover our course at St Mary's want to study courses such as sports science, sports studies, in-school sport, sports coaching, nutrition, sports therapy, sports business management, or they use the opportunity at university to have a major and a minor, where students could cover another subject and then supplementary study PE or sport in some way. Of all the students who've covered Cambridge Technical Sport at St Mary's over the last 5 years, I thought these two students embody the differences that we can have when it comes to a student, the pathway and how they got to St Mary's and how they passed through year 12 and year 13 and were then successful in the future. So Jonathan first, I taught Jonathan for a number of years, all the way through from year 7 all the way to year 13. Jonathan was a GCSE PE student who then graduated onto our course into sixth form. He achieved a distinction grade and then he went to study automotive design. We used his other subjects and sport in order to give him that opportunity to achieve the grade boundaries that he needed to go and study his chosen qualification at university. Leah was an example of a student who came from another school, joined us in year 12. Rather than doing GCSE PE, he studied the Cambridge National Level 2 Sport qualification, which is another pathway that students can take to get into our sixth form. He achieved a distinction grade and then went on to study primary education. So two very different students in lots of ways, in terms of, as I said, the pathway the qualification that they chose, achieved the same grade, and went on to study two very different qualifications within the higher education pathway. There are loads of students that myself and Miss Jackson have taught who've gone on to use this qualification to go and open up businesses in things such as sports therapy, sports coaching. Some have become PE teachers, and others have then gone and used that to enter the voluntary sector to support local sports events, which have been held throughout the last few years in the local area. So just building on the last slide that we looked at with the destinations of the two students that we discussed. Over the last 14 years, I've been a UCAS tutor at St Mary's, supporting a range of different students towards achieving a place within university, all the way from the very start, where students had an idea that they wanted to study at a particular university or no idea, or being unsure about different courses, being able to support them in their research in terms of deciding what it is that they wanted to do in the future. I've picked some of these universities because it seems that over the years, these are a lot of the places where students tend to gravitate towards in terms of where they want to go when they've completed the studies at St Mary's. So we've got some really local ones. So you've got your Salford University, where a lot of students have gone to study occupational therapy. A little bit further out, we've got Edge Hill University in Ormskirk, which is a popular destination for students, whether they're studying primary teaching, nursing, or any sport-related qualification. Liverpool Hope University, sports rehabilitation. Leeds Beckett is another popular university to study physical education or sport. UCLan and the different campuses that you can attend to study their qualifications. So sports business management is another one. What tends to be popular amongst our students at St Mary's, a number of students who've covered sport along with business studies qualifications that we offer in St Mary's. And then there you go for Jonathan, as I said earlier, Coventry University, study automotive design. We have a number of students who travelled all over the country. I can think in the past, students have studied at Birmingham University, up in Scotland as well, Edinburgh, and then we've had different students who've gone down to South Wales, Bristol, and other areas across the UK. So it really is a nationally recognised qualification, the Cambridge Technical Sport. It is the equivalent of an A-level. It is the equivalent of a BTEC qualification. It's a level 3 qualification, so UCAS points that students are able to achieve are accessed by and accepted by the vast majority of universities in the country. So, as you can see, use our qualification as a successful stepping stone towards your future plans. On this slide, I've just taken a number of different comments that students have made throughout their time at St Mary's covering the Cambridge Technical qualification. And myself and Miss Jackson, it makes us really proud that students can see the benefits of taking our subject and seeing how it's not only going to develop them academically, but also developing their personal skills and their ability to become more successful citizens as they leave St Mary's, and hopefully spend their future lifelong participation within sport, hopefully participating to a higher level, or even coaching to a higher level also, and hopefully putting something back into the local community, ensure that the course can really have not only a benefit for the here and now, but later on into their adult life. Okay, so if you just want to take a look, have a read at these different statements that students have made, and these are just, as I said, a small number of examples as to what students feel that they get from taking our subject. This is the last slide of the PowerPoint, which I thought was an appropriate one to finish on. It shows the different areas of the sports industry that students can progress to once they've finished their studies at St Mary's. As you can see, the wide range of options that students can have, and the ways to access these are obviously through further study at university, through achieving a place on an apprenticeship, or moving straight into employment into one of these areas. Something I'm really proud of with the Cambridge Technical Sports course is obviously the vocational aspect of it. We don't just study about the skills, but we actually perform them, practice them, refine them. And hopefully students see the benefit of that in terms of how they can apply into other areas of the studies and the life as well. So learning how to deal with different scenarios, different individuals when we're performing our training activities, when we're delivering events to students lower down the school, having the opportunity to take part in the extracurricular programme and support our students within year 7 and 8, for example, with the rugby teams, football, netball, badminton, basketball, all the different sports we cover in St Mary's. That's the added advantage of taking our subject at St Mary's being a sixth form. We've got the school population that we can tap into to support the progress of our sixth form, and also it gives the students the added option of being able to, work with different year groups within our school, which will hopefully develop their ability to then move on into these different areas. So thank you for listening, reading the different slides. If you need to get in touch with myself or any of the P department, please do so. We're always more than happy to answer any of your questions. We do feel as a department that our past success speaks for itself. We've got a strong, consistent record of high achievement with our students at St Mary's, and then seeing those students go on and achieving their future careers is always something that myself, Mick Jackson in particular, we're always keen to hear about when students return in the different capacities, whether it's been as another teacher in school, whether it's been as a sports coach, or whether it's just to keep in touch with us to let us know how they're getting on. So as I said, thank you very much. I hope you've been able to hopefully solidify choice to choose sport at St Mary's, and hopefully I will be seeing you in September. So take care and good luck with your studies.